Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another weekly setup. So we are going to analyze over 20 pairs for this new week using the Fxalexg set of Forex strategy, and let us see what we have for this new week. So before we start analyzing, last week we did not take any trade, right? Last week we did not take any trades last week, and I said I was going to explain why I did not take any trades last week, right? So if you come over to the channel, right, if you come over to the Telegram channel, of which you can just join from the YouTube right here, if you just click on the link right here, you can join the Telegram, right? So if you come over to the Telegram, you can see that I told you guys I was going to drop opportunities of the pairs I'm looking at. As you can see right here, you can see that this is GBP AUD, NZD JPY, and Euro NZD, right? So those were the major pairs I was paying to last week. So GBP AUD, NZD JPY, and let's bring the Euro NZD close so that we can just cover the three of them on why I did not take any trades, right? Now all the three pairs actually played out to perfection, right? If you look on the Telegram, you can clearly see I wanted to sell AUD JPY, I wanted to buy NZD JPY, and I wanted to sell Euro NZD, and you can clearly see that GBP AUD sold, NZD JPY bought, as you can see right here, and NZD Euro NZD actually sold, right? So now, why didn't I take any trade, right? Let me bring that very closely. Now, there are some people that actually call this trade. It was also a clean setup. I'll explain why I did not take the trade, right? So this right here was a very clean daily support area, or a very strong area. So my calculation was that once we have a break, we'll have a retracement back into this area to sell, right? So potentially this yellow line, which is actually right here, the daily structure point, right? So now that I saw this, I was supposed to enter on the 1 hour time frame, because that's my entry time frame, right? Now coming over to the 1 hour time frame, as you can clearly see, the market structure was bearish. All we needed was retracement and an engulfing to actually sell, to actually press sell. Now actually, when coming into this area of interest the first time, I wanted to see some form of slowdown. The momentum coming into the area was too strong, right? So I waited extra to see if market will slow down, which it actually did, and then shift structure again and breaking new lows, so that I'll be more interested in selling the market. So now that we shifted structure, I was waiting for a retracement and an engulfing to sell. So we were almost getting the engulfing, but we did not get the engulfing, because this right here, if I come a little bit closer, this candle did not engulf this candle, right? So sorry, let me come a little bit closer. It did not engulf this candle, so that means that was not my entry signal. That is not the engulfing candle, right? So now I waited for a new break and a retracement to sell, right? So this right here was now an engulfing candle. If I come a little bit closer, this right here was an engulfing candle, because we had a blue candle, a doji, and an engulfing. Right now, I could have just simply entered there, but when I was looking at the market closely, I realized that the market is very slow. It was moving very, very slowly. One thing you don't know about the strategy that we're using is that this strategy actually works on a trending market, a market that has momentum. That's why we are actually looking to trade at London session or New York session. It's not necessarily because we cannot just enter anytime. It's just necessarily because of momentum, right? So I just noticed there was no momentum in this market. Even the engulfing was looking sick, right? So I decided to wait a little bit longer. After seeing this a lot of dojis, my new game plan was to wait for another engulfing to enter, which is this one right here, right? So this right here was supposed to be my engulfing. So I'm supposed to enter on the next candle after the engulfing, right? But if I come closer again, you can see that as soon as this engulfing closed, I was supposed to enter right here to start selling. But guess what? This was let me remove this risk reward ratio too. If you look here, you can see that this was a Marabuzu candle. It did not give me the opportunity to actually start selling from here. It started trading all the way down here, and it opened a new candle and continued going down without actually slowing down. On the normal day, it's supposed to slow down, like you can see wicks on the top or the bottom, right? It's supposed to slow down. Then I'll press the sell button to load and all this thing, but that right there did not give me the opportunity. It was way too fast, right? It was way too fast. So So after the engulfing, I was supposed to enter, so I missed it. After the engulfing, I was supposed to enter right here, so I actually missed it, right? And then I put my alert for a new entry. Now this is supposed to be another break, retest, and an engulfing to enter, but there was no engulfing right here to enter, right? Market just breezed past all these levels, making this market structure bullish again. Now I posted this during the time because now I know that we will not have the opportunity to trade it, because for us to trade this market again, we need market structure to now shift bearish, have a new retracement to sell. So after seeing the retracements, I just knew that we'll probably not have the opportunity to sell this market again, because right now we are going to need a new break under this low, a retracement, and it needs to even slow down again for us to have the retracement, for us to have the confirmation to sell. This right here was a tight one, that's why I didn't really pay attention to it, and then from here pretty much it sold. If we had had a new retracement to around this level and I get the engulfing, we would have actually caught this trade again, but as you can clearly see, price actually traded all the way below this line, by the way, right? So we missed out on a very big trading opportunity. This is basically another similar thing that happened to us in NZD JPY. So just jumping right into NZD JPY, is that I enter on the 1 hour time frame, right? So I was looking for a break, retest, and an engulfing, and right here we had a break, retest, and low key and engulfing. Now this retest is not so clean, but if you check the 30 minutes, it's way more cleaner. But I'm looking at the 1 hour because I've promised myself to be looking and taking my entries on the 1 hour time frame, right? This right here, I could actually decide to enter this candle. It is still a retest and it's still an engulfing candle, so I could have entered here, but guess what? Again, that same Marabuzu candle, on this leg, I could not enter this market. So when we are having a retracement, I was expecting that maybe we'll have a doji and engulfing, like a new break, retest, and engulfing to enter, but we did not get the engulfing. It just came, retested, and started going all the way up to the moon, right? So we just missed a lot of markets this week. Now the last pair was actually Euro NZD. So Euro NZD, he had a break under the area. Now we are looking for a retracement to an engulfing to sell, right? Now we got the engulfing, but guess what? The market structure have actually shifted bullish because it broke above this high, right? Now we need market structure to shift bearish again, knowing that this is now the high and this is the low, we need a new high which it created. Then the new low for that is this one. So now that we shifted bearish again, we are looking for a cleaner retracement to somewhere around here to now potentially sell, but it did not have that retracement or the engulfing for us to sell, and that's how we missed a third win this week. So now I know you guys are mad because of all these misses, but remember, patience is what pays in this market. You guys can see that we have been winning almost throughout January. It's because of patience. It's not necessarily because of the strategy or understanding the market. It's because of patience. Things like this will help you avoid losses. In this case, it just made us miss the winning trades, but it's okay. Next week we are going again. So now let me analyze over 20 pairs using the Fxalexg setup Forget strategy and show you what pairs I'm paying attention to this week. So let's go to GBP first, and we'll delete everything because we did not take that trade. Now let's go to the daily time frame. Now daily time frame, I could already tell that we need a much more deeper retracement to sell this market. There's no reason to actually continue selling right now, right? Even the weekly time frame is saying that we still need a deeper retracement to sell. So we'll not be interested in GBP this new week, unfortunately. NZD JPY has been trending very strongly to the upside, but you can clearly see we don't have an area of interest. You can clearly see that, so we'll not be interested in that this week. Euro JPY too, we need a much more deeper retracement, right, to potentially take that same trade that we did not take last week. So NZD JPY, we need a deeper retracement to around here for us to continue selling. This deeper retracement, I would have preferred the deeper retracement to start retracing from here, from this candle right here, to start retracing for us to sell. This candle right here was too big. I don't know how to explain it. It's like an experience thing. It's too deep. the retracement will have a long way to go. Then we cannot just enter the sell from there. I don't know how to explain exactly what I'm saying, but just know that we still need a deeper retracement to sell. But I would have preferred if this deep push to the downside was not too deep, right? Um I would have preferred it to be just something like this, just small, and then a retracement for us to now catch this bigger move. So that's just my thought process, but we have not gotten any pairs for this week so far. So let's just continue. GPP USD. Okay, so GBP USD was one of the pairs I was calling last week, so I was being extra careful. See, this where extra carefulness comes in, because now I would have been looking to sell this market because at the time it was clearly bearish, but because I was being extra careful, just the way I was being last week, because I missed this trade, people were mad. But that is exactly what made us avoid this big loss. We were planning on selling, as you can see the part of last week, right? So that is where patience will pay, right? We actually use this patience to try and avoid more losses, right? But sometimes you can just miss your trades, right? It happens. So now let us see what we have for this week. All right, so daily time frame. Okay, so daily time frame. Daily time frame is currently clearly bullish, right? Clearly bullish. I need an area of interest around here. I need an area of interest around here. I don't want it to be up here. But this area of interest up here is also clean. The reason I need an area of interest below, okay, let me explain it, right? Because this longer version is for me to really explain what my thought process is, right? So the reason I need a retracement down here for me to buy is because it feels more safer instead of drawing an area of interest up here. Now, why is that? Because a retracement, I usually just see a retracement as a discount, right? It's like assuming this price point is like $10, then this price point is like $100, right? The retracement is just like giving me a discount, and I need a discount that is below 50%, right? I don't need like a 20% discount. I don't need small retracement, right? I need a very big discount because we are trading in a very risky market, right? I don't need to be risking more money. I need like a 50% discount at least, or maybe 30% discount or something like that. So retracement, I just see them as discount, right? Instead of buying all here, knowing that the price is still going to go up, right? I could wait for a better discount than to buy, to try and buy together with the momentum, instead of buying as $100 knowing that it's going to go to 1,000, but it's going to first pull me in drawdown first, before going to the profit, right? So I don't need all those pressure. Okay, so let me just see. Okay, I'll just draw the two boxes that I'm seeing right now. I'll just draw the two area of interest, but this area of interest is, I don't like it that much. Why? Because the discount doesn't feel strong enough, but the area of interest has hold price multiple times before, right? So it's still a valid zone. It's still a very valid zone, but I'll just be a little bit more selfish in placing my trades, right? So this second one, I'll just call this the main area. So let me come a little bit closer so that I'll see what we are doing here. Okay. All right. So this second area is also very valid. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rejections from area. 8, 9 rejections. And this first one, I could extend it to here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rejections from area. So I actually prefer to buy from this area if you are having a retracement. But again, I would have preferred the retracement to start from here before we buy and catch this move. But well, we'll see. But let us see. This is what my plan is for this week. By the way, I've not looked at other time frames, so I'll do that. But daily time frame is telling us buy. It's telling us to buy, right? So daily time frame is bullish. Weekly time frame, All right, it's also bullish. That's very good now, right? So we have two time frame in sync, and 4 hour time frame. I need 4 hour time frame to also be good. 4 hour time frame is also bullish. So we have all the three time frame in sync, but this market might take quite some time, right? If you're actually going to be buying from this area, so I'll just keep it close. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen very early next week, but I'll keep it very close, right? So GBP USD, I am interested in GBP USD. GBP NZD, let's see. GBP NZD, we are actually looking to, I was explaining how this sell was very prominent to happen this week, right? I was explaining that because we have come to this area multiple times, we came here before, we rejected down very strongly. We came here again, rejected down very strongly. It was very possible that it would come here and reject down strongly. But I was saying that the overall direction of this market was looking very bullish. So I'll actually be very patient on waiting for a cleaner trading above this area, clearly breaking above these highs for me to now look for buys, right? So that was how we avoided this loss. By the way, there was no even reason to even buy from this market, right? It was clearly sales, right? But the direction, the bias for the week was buys if we had the break and retest above this level, which we never did, and so we never took any trades on this pair, right? So for now, is there anything for us to do? This market, I still believe might have a retracement somewhere around here to potentially sell, but I can barely see the area of interest. This is the daily time frame. I can barely see any area, right? So I can't really say much about this pair. You just have to keep on going. NZD USD, this market last week was very clearly bearish. Now NZD USD, see, this another reason why we need to be extra patient with this market. This market is not like, this market is not always favorable, right? Just look at this clean setup right here. Look at this clean setup. Market was clearly bearish, had a retracement, right, and start breaking new highs. Now we know that this market is bullish, and guess what? We now have a left head, right shoulder. Now if you know basic market patterns, you know that left head, right shoulder is a reversal pattern, right? And to confirm the head and shoulder is valid, we need a break of the neckline and a retracement to that neckline to potentially sell. Did you see what happened? Now we were supposed to sell from here, Abby, because now we have the break of the neckline, retracement to potentially sell. But guess what? He bought. Why? Because I explained last week why waiting for a break and retest. If you look at this arrow right here, waiting for a break and retest below this low is way more valid than actually selling from this area of interest last week. I explained that last week. If you go and watch the video, you understand what I'm saying, right? So I mentioned how here we cannot just ignore this level right here, because it have actually reacted from the market multiple times on the 4 hour time frame, right? So now we need a cleaner break of that level, plus that level was also still bullish, so we needed 4 hours to actually shift bearish too as well for us to be interested. As you can see, that's how we avoided this loss. On a normal day, somebody would have entered from this engulfing now and put the stop loss here, and just the SL would not tear, right? Now that's exactly what I was saying last week. Patience helps you avoid more losses actually, right? So now let's delete everything. Let's see what we have there. Now it's very clear that the market is clearly bullish right now, so we can only do what? Look for buys. On this case, it's a very clean area of interest on the daily time frame, but what we'll be looking for is a retracement to this level to potentially buy. Now as you can see, if I draw this Fibonacci, even if I just look at it as just a discount tool, right, to see whether I'm getting a good discount, this is like the 100% level, for example, or this is like the $100. Then this black line is like the $10, for example, right? If you look at where our area of interest is, this green line right here is actually the 50%, right? It's actually half, right? Half of this price, right? Or here is even lower price. Even these orange lines are even lower prices. So from our area of interest can clearly tell that if when we get to area of interest, we'll at least have 50% discount, right, on this deal, for example, right? So, but do I think it's going to happen soon next week? I'll still be keeping my eye on it, but I highly doubt it might happen as soon as next week, right? Let's just keep on seeing what we have. Oh, and by the way, GBP let's see the 4-hour time frame. We didn't look at that. Sorry. So the 4-hour time frame is coming back into this area. It's going to come bearish, right? So I'll clearly wait for 4 hour to shift bullish first. Then I'll decide what to do next. All right, NZD card. As you can tell from this part, last week again, we were looking to somehow sell this market. In fact, we are not looking to somehow sell. We are looking to sell this market. Why? Because market structure was showing us bearish signs. But I explained why we need to be trading below this level again to take that sales, right? Again, another loss avoided because we are being very patient, right? I could go in depth on exactly how we avoided this loss, but let's just continue with the weekly setups. Now, the market is clearly bullish. Last week was very crazy, right? If you caught any trade last week, you made a very big bag. But the market was way too fast for us, right? I said and forget traders. We need the market to, kind of take us along. We need it to be fast, right? But we don't need it to be leaving us, that kind of thing. Right now, we are expecting a retracement back into this level to buy. But again, I would prefer the retracement to have just been here so that we'll catch this long move instead, right? But for now, we don't know what to do until price gets to here. Then we'll know what to do. Euro GBP. All right, now Euro GBP. In case you have forgotten, last week I was calling for sales on this market, right? Euro GBP, last week I was calling for sales on this market, but again I explained why we needed price to be trading below this line right here. I think that was a 4-hour line. If you watch that last week's video, exactly, that was a 4-hour line. So price have traded below before, but clearly it showed that it has rejected up again. Here it rejected up. Why is it rejecting up? We don't know. That's why we need price to be clearly trading below here for us to be interested. And guess what? Another loss avoided, right? From the EME, you can clearly see it was bearish. We were planning on selling, then it just shifted bullish. Another loss avoided because of patience, right? So this week we are still going to be waiting for price to trade below that level, very clearly below that level, before we pay attention or risk our money in that kind of market, right? For now, market structure is I'll call this bullish, right? If price breaks under this level, will actually be bearish. So that is still not a bad trade. All right, so weekly time frame Euro GBP, as you can see, like I said, weekly time frame last week was very crazy. After all this movement to the top, it still closed at exactly the price it opened last week. That's crazy, right? So that is a very good sign. At least we are seeing some form of liquidation grab, but I don't like this doji coming to the area, right? And the reason for that is because after a very strong selling pressure and we now see a doji, then we can expect a very bullish market the next time, right? It's like a reversal candlestick pattern, right? So this might actually be like a weak out candle or a reversal candlestick pattern. So we'll be very careful with next week market if you are trading Euro GBP, right? Okay, so I'm seeing that information right now. Now 4-hour time frame is bearish, actually bearish right now, right? So I still need price to be trading below here to know what to do, right? And I still need a little bit more price action, because if price start trading below here and give us the entry signal, then our stop losses have to be all the way here, and it's way too far because our take profit will now be, we will now have to be waiting weeks to hit take profit. So we are not going to be doing that. So I need a little bit more price action so that my stop loss don't have to be way too far. So Euro GBP, I'll still keep it close. I'll decide on it later. Euro USD. clearly bullish market, as you can clearly see. Again, another loss avoided, like you can see right here. We're looking for sales, but I was explaining why markets must be trading down under this level. We did not even get the engulfing or the entry signal. We did not get any of those things, so there was no need to um, trade Euro USD last week, right? But Euro USD, I expect it to potentially come back into this area, something like this, to at least the 50% to potentially buy, right? But right here, if you are going to be trading, it's going to be a counter trend trade. I don't want to trade counter trend trades this week, right? So I'll not be interested. Let me just keep the arrow for future references. GBP CHF. So GBP CHF, let's see. Okay, I remember something about GBP CHF. We do not have price action down here, and we have pretty much almost never had price action. This is like 2020 down here, right? Okay, so now this line, let's draw this line right here. So now this line is probably the lowest point price has come before, and anytime we approach that line, we buy strongly. Anytime we approach that line, we buy strongly, and we somehow approach that line again, and we kind of bought strongly, but we bought for some time, right? And now right now price is at that line, and we traded below, by the way. So right now, what is this market telling us? Weekly is actually, well, if I'm counting this as the structure point, then it means that this market is actually bullish. But I don't like this kind of market that have this is a reversal candlestick pattern, these three together, right? Bullish, doji, engulfing, right? It's a very strong candlestick pattern. But another thing I've seen from this pair is that this right here is a Marabozu candle, which means we don't have a wick to the top, right? So there's a very high not so high of a potential, because it did not even happen here, by the way. I'm just noticing, for the market to create a new wick to the bottom, I mean to the top of this candle. Long story, but let's go to the daily to kind of see what I'm seeing here. Okay, so this market is, now I don't really like confusing markets, right? But here is how I would play this market if I'm entering. So I'll prefer that we have this instead. I'll prefer that we have this instead. The market wants to be bullish. Let it be clearly bullish for us to see, right? I'm not going to be predicting if it's going to buy from here or not. What is all this selling momentum for? We don't need all that, right? So I'm protecting my money too as well. So if I get a cleaner break and retest above this area right here, I'll be interested in buying GBP CHF. For now, is making a lot of undecision. Market, it was bullish, and it's clearly somehow bearish right now on the daily time frame, right? Until we have that break and retest, I'll know what next to do. For now, I'll keep it close to see what we have. AED USD. So AED USD, I don't know if you missed this trade, but I was predicting buys on this market. As you can see from this arrow, I needed price to be clearly trading above this area, which we did, and a retracement to buy. I'm trying to remember if we actually took this trade. I have a feeling we took this trade, or should I check? As you can see, this was where I was predicting that buys on AUD USD, right? You know what, I've totally forgotten if I took that trade, but right now there's nothing we can do. So next pair, please. GBP JPY, right? GBP JPY also doesn't seem like there's a lot of area of interest for us to trade off of. I still believe that this market could buy even right now. but that's not even the strategy. So next pair, this is what Euro JPY. We took this trade and we won. Again, patience, please. But right now, but right now, this selling pressure is too much for us to think about buy. This next week is looking like it's going to be a very boring week, right? Even the pairs I've selected this week is, I'm still skeptical about them. I don't like when I'm very skeptical about the pairs I'm going to take, because that's kind of like low confidence just makes things worse. This one too also need a deeper retracement. GPP AUD card, it's no need. Euro AUD. Now, when price was here, I was expecting a retracement back into this area to sell. I was just being extra careful again, and then I kind of missed this one. It was a clean area of interest. Did not get the opportunity. Right now is down here. We need a cleaner retracement. Now let me analyze this one and see if we can get a clean area of interest. Now we have to now using area. Okay, so AUD, Euro AUD. This is the area of interest I can see. Okay, so this is the area of interest I can see right here. Now I will need a retracement to this level to potentially continue selling. So of all the pairs I analyzed, I like this one. So let's see how the weekly looks. Weekly, almost doesn't matter. The EMA is shifting bearish, right? And we just close below this last structure, right? So yes, it's bearish. 4 hour, is 4 hour time frame is also bearish, but we still need price to get to that area. But I don't like this 4 hour structure points, this market structure. But until price gets to area, then maybe we'll have a cleaner structure, right? For now, we have to just pay attention to the daily time frame and wait for the retracement. Until price gets here, then we'll start looking for other criteria to tell us what to do, or if we can potentially sell that market, right? For now, we have to wait for that to happen. So I'll keep it close. USD JPY, I'm sure it has a very strong selling momentum, as you can see right here. There will be no need for us to buy this market, right, or even sell, because if you are selling, it's going to be too expensive to buy. CAD JPY, damn, I'm not sure what happened. Was this Friday? All the JPY pairs dumped very strongly this Friday. I was not even on the market on Friday. I was analyzing this. I was editing this video at the time, right? So go watch the video. It's very important lessons, by the way. I don't expect you to agree with me with everything I said, but it's very important lessons if you want to be successful in trading. So CAD JPY, I expect that this area of interest should potentially hold, but it might hold, it might not hold. But I'm not interested in buying where I'm seeing very strong bearish momentum, right? I'm not interested in buying where I'm seeing very strong bearish momentum. CAD JPY, this market this week, I don't know what's going on. We don't have a lot of opportunities. Now, GBP card, for some reason, I'm seeing something here, okay? So, GBP card, is this market structure bullish or bearish? Well, that would not matter if we are actually above this high, which is where I'm seeing a cleaner area of interest. So, let me see if we can get something here. This area of interest is not as clean though. So we have one clear rejection, two clear rejections, right? Somewhat of a clear rejection here. So I'll extend this area to be a little bit bigger to accommodate this rejection. Fourth rejection right here. This right here just breeze pass through, so we'll not be counting that as a rejection, right? So we have at least um three major rejections, so we have minor rejections here. So so what I'm thinking right now is a buying opportunity on this market, but I kind of want this market to sell first, something like this, before we have the break and then the retest to buy, right? Then we'll now be targeting the daily structure points, which are usually identified out with a yellow line as the take profit target, right? So I like this one. Let's see how the weekly looks. So the weekly, well, overall direction seems bullish to me. Okay, and is the market structure bullish? Yes, it's bullish right now. Okay, so daily 4 hour time frame, let's see that. Okay, so 4 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame. Okay, 4 hour time frame is actually still bullish, but again, it makes sense if we can have this retracement first, just to show us that it's reacting from that area again, right? Plus, the price is way too high. I need a little bit of discount. No, it's just it's a mind thing. I don't know how to explain it, but I need that retracement first before we have the break, potentially, right? But if you have the break first, then at the retracements, when the retracement is coming back into the area, I might look for other things, right? I might look for other things. By the way, I'll post it on the Telegram. I'll inform you guys like I always do, right? Then I'll look for other things that might actually make the trade worth it. Then we can now potentially buy from that area, right? But for now, seems like the daily time frame is the cleanest time frame, so we have to wait for that time frame to have a cleaner break and retest first. And we also have a we have a round psychological level here. Okay, we have a round psychological level here, so let's draw it. Let's draw the round psychological level. So 1.87 thousand, right? So we clearly need price to be trading above that level. So let's go back and see how, as you can see, the round psychological level is almost around the exact point, right? Something like that. Something like that, not so clean. So it might not be that respected as we expect, but it's at least we need our stop loss to be below that line, at least, right? So that's what I'm seeing right here. I like this one. GBP card. USD card, let's see. USD card, we are looking for price to come to this area to sell. As you can see, it sold, but the market structure at the time was bullish because this was the retracement I was waiting for at the time, not this one, right? But it did not happen, so it sold and left us, and then it came back to that area, which I know that it was going to be respected, but it's not like I knew. I just know that it's supposed to be respected, but it might not be respected again, right? So and we didn't even get the opportunity. By the way, I just remember from last week's setup, we didn't even get the opportunity to potentially sell from here again. So we just pretty much missed it, and that was not a bad one. On a normal day, it's supposed to even maybe be a loss or something. AED last pair, no area of interest. There's just nothing we can do here. So now let me look at these pairs again. Very confusing. GBP card, I like this one. I mentioned it. Okay. This actually has a game plan behind it. GBP USD, I'll prefer a much more deeper retracement on this one if it's going to happen this week. But if price gets to this area, we'll still decide. Again, I'll let you guys know in the Telegram, but I'll actually prefer a deeper retracement. But we'll see because this right here is actually the daily structure point, right? It's actually the last daily structure point. So price could actually react from this area particularly instead of having this one. But this one is a little bit more safer because they are clean structures under where we can put our stop loss, right? Plus the discount will be very good. NZD/USD is the same thing. So we need a retracement back into this level to potentially buy, and then we need more market structure around this level too to actually, buy, right? Euro GBP will still be looking for what to do, right? But we are potentially going to sell this market, but to where? So as we don't have any potential structure point that is clean enough, this is the only one I can see right here, but there's another one above. So right here it's not that clean, so we'll just target 1 is 2 on this market, right? For now, these are the pairs I'm going to be paying attention for this week. For GBP CHF, if you can have a break and retest above here, I'll be buying. And Euro AUD, if you can have a retracement back into this level, I will potentially sell. So let me just add these two for this week. I don't think they are so bad, right? So we have about 1 2 3 4 5 6 pairs this week. Not bad at all, not bad. So I'll be creating a shorter version of this video to explain the weekly setups again, even to myself, right, to kind of know what my game plan for next week is. So I'll see you guys in that video.